Which one am I supposed to talk to?
Just talk straight ahead.
Straight ahead. All right. Hey, really proud of our team and the way they performed tonight. I've been looking for a complete game. Certainly a lot of things that we can get better at, but I think it's always hard to go on the road, compete in this conference. We talked about being battle tested this game, coming somewhere and performing, and I thought our guys came and they performed, a complete game. Certainly some moments, like I said, that we want back. But overall, our team's getting better, and I think it's seen there. That's Coach Fish has done a great job with that team, getting them better and better, and excited to get ready for our next opponent, UCLA.
All right, we'll start with James in the middle.
In a game where you know that they're such an explosive offense, particularly in the passing game, they hit a couple of 30-yarders, one early, one late, but other than that, neither one of those even, and at any yards after the catch, you kept the lid on probably the most talented receiving core you're going to play, and included with losing one of your top cornerbacks before half. How do you feel about how the secondary did that tonight?
Yeah, I think we got tested. We got some great experience. I think that those are really good wideouts and a quarterback that does a good job of distributing the ball. I still want to see us be better there. We got to be able to defend those shots, and we put those guys on islands at times. We said we're going to play man-to-man and see if we can hold up, and I thought we did. But certainly still some moments for growth. We're not going to change the standard because they're good. Yeah, they're good at wideout, but we want to get better there. Overall, pleased with our performance, though, across the board.
Eric, right here in the front.
How crucial were the turnovers? I think two of them came when they were about to maybe go in and score. Just how big of momentum?
Yeah, that first one was huge. The first one was really, really big, and then the sack fumble was obviously a really big one as well. Interception was big. I mean, there was a couple that certainly made a difference, but they had momentum early. They really moved the ball down the field without much trouble. That happens some in opening drives. It's hard to get a stop on the first possession of a game. Teams have a scripted out, plan on what they're going to do to execute, and they did a good job. But those turnovers really make the difference. You're talking about several points that it keeps off the board.
Matt?
Earlier this year, you mentioned one of the teams that walk off the field not wanting to play you guys again. 7 touchdowns on the ground. Do you feel like you accomplished that kind of a mission with your offense?
I can't speak to that. I know that we were able to impose, our will at times tonight, and we were able to run the ball the way we wanted to run the ball and knock back. I thought our guys played with physicality, and that's what we were looking for. I definitely think we saw that. I can't speak to how they feel.
Rob?
The theme continues where you have issues you want to see addressed and you fix them. I don't think there was any penalties on the offensive line tonight. You wanted to connect on some deep shots more efficiently than last week. Just why were you better in those facets, and how important was that tonight?
At the end of the day, you get what you emphasize, right? And if we see a wart, we want to go fix it. That being said, there's a lot of things that we can continue to fix, and it's hard to be focused when you try to be a jack of all trades. So we have to narrow our focus. What can we get better at? And continue to look for opportunities to improve, because we're just going to be playing better teams from here on out. There's a good team tonight. We're going to play some really good ones moving forward.
James?
It's another really good night statistically for Bo. No passing touchdowns, but 20 of 25 and runs for 3 more. You talk about things you want to address and whatnot, particularly in this bye week. Statistically, your quarterback's playing extremely well, extremely efficient, extremely accurate. What are the areas that you can identify coming off a game like this where he can still grow that much more for you?
I didn't see the ball in jeopardy tonight. That's one of the biggest things we coach. I think we walked away from the game last week and we said, hey, Bo, there's probably 5 opportunities that could be where we don't want it. And not seeing that was a really cited improvement for him. Really good job. He got us into some phenomenal run checks. He's playing like a smart quarterback right now. We need to keep operating the way he's been operating. He's obviously really talented, does a great job with his feet, but gives us a chance to win when he plays like he did tonight.
Eric?
You mentioned wanting you guys put your corners out on an island a little bit. Just Jaleel in particular playing a lot in the second half. How did you kind of feel like he held up?
I have to go back and look at the film. I think he got a lot of experience. That as a freshman, it's good to go get experience. The only way to become a better player is to get out there on the field and experience it firsthand. Got a little handsy at times. He can certainly play better, play the ball in the air. But with the biggest things, you got to put him on a stage, and he didn't play with any fear. Right? He went out there and he operated. He's got opportunity to get better, right? But that grows with time.
Matt?
How about your pass rush? The guys up front, how well do you think they did, just forcing Jaden Delore maybe to go a little quicker than he wanted to?
Yeah, if you watch his film, coming into this game, his ability to extend plays was such a weapon, right? And we knew we wanted to do a good job of keeping him contained, making him throw on time, right? If he had to make, extend plays, it's going to be hard to cover for that long, right? You're asking your guys to do a lot. So we had to mix up our looks. At times we're 3-man, 4-man, 5-man pressuring. You got to change that. And then you got to win when you do three-man rush. I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that.
Rob?
When you win, it comes with attention and chatter, and the matchup in 2 weeks is one a lot of your fans are going to be really anticipating. What's your sense for kind of how capable your team is right now for kind of handling these circumstances that are going to come when you win like this?
I think our team's really excited to get back to work, right? I think they're really excited to say, okay, we'll go to the doctor on Monday. What can we get better at, right? And then this week is a week for us to attack Oregon, right? We have all the respect in the world for the team we're about to play, but the biggest team that we can affect is us. All right, so that's really going to be our focus this next week, and our guys have done a good job of handling that.
Aaron?
When you got the job, a lot of fans that you may have seen tonight even were excited that you were a more defensive-minded coach. After coming into today, knowing that Arizona's offense was going to be a hard one to stop, seeing your team perform, what really does that mean to you?
Well, I think that we can play better. You know, I mean, I'm excited about the result tonight for sure. But what I'm excited about is we played really well in all three phases, right? I thought we did good things in every phase of the game. I think the biggest thing you walk away from defensively, we got to be better on third down, right? That they did a good job of converting some third downs that we didn't really get what we wanted. But ultimately, when you play three phases clean, right, and do a good job across the board, that's winning football and gives you a chance. So pleased with our performance, not satisfied.
Eric?
I don't think Brian Addison comes out here.
Yeah, he wasn't available to play today.
How did you just feel in general about how the safeties played in the back end and talk about kind of keeping everything in front?
I think we had good and bad. Again, I have to go back and watch the film a little bit closer to be able to evaluate that. But, you know, we tackled really well in the first half. We didn't tackle as well in the second half. You know, got to finish that. That's not necessarily the safeties. That's more as a defensive whole. But ultimately, we didn't give up a ton of shots down the field. We were able to keep the ball in play. Some guys won some one-on-ones, but I thought those guys played well. I'll have to go evaluate it.
James?
With what you saw coming into the season of Bennett Williams on tape last year, because prior to the injury he was playing like an All-American, and then obviously the bowl game he just came back. The last 3 weeks he is starting to play now like he was at the beginning of last year. What has enabled him to do that the last 3 weeks? The first 3 weeks was probably just getting his feet under him a little bit more, getting used to it again. But what has it been the last 3 weeks where he's playing back to that elite level again?
Smart football. Right, Bennett's a really smart football player. He understands what we're trying to execute. I mean, that's what's happening right now with Bo on offense, what's happening with Bennett on defense. Like, when you have an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish defensively, it's really easy to operate within the system. And, you know, like that sack fumble tonight, like that's a play that we practiced I don't know how many times this week, and we're kind of alert for it. And this is why we're calling this play, for this play. For that to pop up, Bennett understand why we're playing it and what we're doing. You can see he takes a perfect angle there for the quarterback, and every sack turns into a fumble. That's the goal. But you see guys taking stuff from the meeting room to the practice field. If you do it in the practice field, don't be surprised when you do it in the game. Right? And Bennett's done a really good job of that, and now not being satisfied with it and looking for opportunities to continue to grow. That's what I look for him to keep doing.
Time for two more. Matt, and then Eric.
5 straight games, your offense has scored 41 or more points. I think that last time that's happened was 2014. What do you feel like the potential is for this offense, and what makes them so good to score at such a high rate so consecutively?
When you can run the ball, like our guys have been able to run the ball, but then have a passing attack that really complements that. You know, to have the ability to run the ball at will at times, and then set up with shots. You know, that shot to Chris Hudson early was huge. To be able to block on the perimeter, you know, and go win. I think we're creating an offense that's really hard to defend because you have so many elements and so many limbs, you know, to that system to where we can be really effective. So, at the same note, I think if you watch our film, you're going to say the presentation is a little bit different, but you start seeing the same plays showing up every single week. But sometimes somebody has to stop it.
Last question, Eric.
How do you handle a bye week? Can you guys take any time off really, or is it? I guess just is it different than a normal game week? And walk us through a little.
Yeah, you don't play a game.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, we like before we ever stepped in the locker room tonight after the win, we already had our schedule set. This is our plan. We knew exactly what we're going to do. So it's definitely a little bit different. We're going to get a yoga session in. Right, we're going to do some recovery, but we're also going to get some work. Right, and it's really about good on good. It's really not about your opponent. How can we improve our team? Right, but yeah, Saturday we won't play next week. We'll watch somebody else play. Charge our battery a little bit, but more than anything, this next week we're going to have an improvement plan for us to be better.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Just so you all know,